This video is on how to use the CareScape R860 Ventilator Simulator. This simulator was made with Microsoft PowerPoint with a colleague, so we made it together. It is strictly for navigation. I cannot change a mode. I can see where the modes are, and I cannot make setting changes. This video, or the simulator itself, was approximately 100 pictures to get it made and over close to 200 hyperlinks to build this. So adding setting changes and everything like that is quite a extensive project. I'm just going to overview how it works. What we did is we wanted to deal with navigation because when we get into the views, there's over 14 different views with the display views, so this can be kind of cumbersome to someone that's first learning this ventilator. And I'm also making this video and going to give it away for free because it kind of gives you ideas, educators, or to make your own simulators just by using Microsoft PowerPoint and how active they can be. So first, if I go to the display, I'm going to look at this hard display, and it's broken it down into my hard keys at the bottom, and you can kind of see me scroll my arrow at the very bottom. And in the middle is my touchscreen display. And my navigation is all going to be with the touchscreen display, just like the actual ventilator if you had the actual ventilator on the patient. I do have my control knob. This is for confirming setting changes, but since we're not going to confirm any setting changes, the control knob is not used. Also, the control knob is not used for navigation, just touch. What is going to be active when the simulator is up and running is this home key right here. So the home key will be active and take you to the main basic view, which I'll go over. I'm going to go ahead and get started, but before that, if we look at the touchscreen display on the very bottom, we start at the bottom left-hand side. This shows my current mode of ventilation, and next to this is my associated settings with the current mode of ventilation. My mode and settings are always going to be on the bottom, no matter what view I'm in. And then my measured values are going to populate here in the middle. So we're going to start with my standby screen. Also, if we look at the top, this green bar is my alarms. And to get my alarm settings, I can open up and hit this little sprocket or gear wheel here. It's green because there's no alarms are active. I'm just going to go ahead, and you can't do a system check, so I'm going to go ahead and start my ventilation by clicking the Start Ventilation button. And this is just giving me a reminder that a system check was not done. And I'm going to go ahead and continue. And now the simulator's up and running. This is what it's kind of going to look like. This first view is what's called the basic view. And when I'm in my in other views on the ventilator, when I hit the home key, it's going to bring me back to this basic view. Most of my other menus that I can access are from this basic view. And I'll get into that later when we go over the simulator itself. So I have my measure parameters, my settings like I stated before. And in the middle here, so I have this square, I have these circles, and I have another square. So currently, all these circles are different views. So I have 5 views associated with the present or live patient therapy. And the way it's set up, it's kind of like a book. You say the book is open to the middle, that's what you're currently reading. So this is the present. To the left, that's part of the book you haven't read before. That's the past. Those pages are shut. To the right's the future. You haven't read those parts of the book yet. And those pages are shut too. So if I go back down to my workspaces, so this workspace is currently open. That's my present or live patient therapy. To the left here, that's a workspace. It's like a folder that's closed, and that has different views for the past or historical trends. And then if I go to the far right, I see this little square here or folder, but we call them workspaces. And in this workspace, there's different views related to the future or clinical decision support. So first, I'm going to just show different views with the present. So I'm currently in the basic view. I'm going to move over to my right, and I'm going to go to my basic waveform view. So I'm going to collect that. What's nice, we're able to create animated GIFs through videos of the screen. So now it looks like that this simulator is up and running like it has a live patient on it, and the waveforms are going to move across this screen. This is my basic waveform where I have waveforms and the 6 same numeric values or measurements that I get from the basic view. So if I go back to my basic view, I can just go click on here and it'll bring me back. As you see, I have my 6 measured values and they carry over to my basic waveform. As I stated before, I'm going to go down to the home key next to the control knob. If I do click this, it's going to bring me back into my basic view. So my home key is going to be active with this simulator. Next, let's go to the right in the middle here. So we went over our basic view, basic waveforms. Let's go into the advanced waveforms. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open up the advanced waveforms you see from the display itself. I have a longer waveforms. It allows me for more diagnostic value. And if I look to the right of the waveforms, I have my numeric measured values. I have more measured values, and one thing to notice too is now my measured values correlate with the waveform itself. So on the very top, this red waveform is a pressure waveform, and next to that are pressure related measured values. Go down to the middle, my yellow flow waveform now have measured values related to flow and volume. Lastly, I have my minute ventilation. If this was the true ventilator and I had an end-tidal CO2, I could have an end-tidal CO2 waveform, and then I have a waveform, I'd have measured values for my end-tidal CO2. So next I'm going to go one right over. And now this is my split screen. And as you see, the more right we go, we're going to get more advanced. So we're building on the previous screen. So I have my waveforms, the same numeric values that are coupled with the waveform itself, and now I have this split screen which can be customized. But with the simulator, I cannot customize it. Next is my charting view, and this is everything the ventilator can measure, and it puts it all on one page. So this is nice for if the electronic medical record goes down, I can chart all the numeric values in one place, and it breaks them down into categories and columns. So each column is a category to kind of make it easier to find. If I get lost, I can always hit home. I'm going to hit home, and that's going to bring me back to the basic view. So now I'm going to move over to the left or the past. And when I move over to the left, I'm going to open up this workspace, and it's going to close my present workspace. I open that up. You notice that my present workspace collapsed. And this is just giving me 4 views associated with the past or historical trends. My first view is what's called my basic, graphical trends. Next to that's my numerical trends, and additionally these tabs are active on top, so I can look at my mode tab. I can go to the top and look at my measured tab. Let's give that a click again. There we go. And I can look at my alarms, and they work backwards too. If I go backwards, they work backwards also, so those hyperlinks were built in. Next I can go to my alarms, or this is called my trend log. So it has the little alarm bell. The trend log gives me 3 things. So at the very top it gives me alarms. The little flag is procedures, and you see the little cogwheel or the sprocket. This shows me all the mode changes. So for example, I have the little sprocket tells me that the ventilator was in standby and we went into PRVC at this time and date. I'm going to move my arrow around to go down to show you the next view. The next view is my snapshot. It looks like a camera. And this is where all my snapshots are stored. To do a snapshot, I would hit this hard key that's not active, and it captures a snapshot. And I'm going to explain the snapshot. I'm going to go over to the snapshot, and you can see it's not only a screenshot, but it's going to give me much more data at the time. So I have waveforms which I can review. At that period of time, I'm going to go to my mode, and it shows me the mode, all the settings at that time I took the snapshot, all the measured values, and all my alarm settings, and if any alarms are going off for that period of time. That is my historical trends, or the past. Next, what I want to do is I'm going to go to the far right over here in this workspace. So when I click this, it's going to close the past, and we're going to go to the future. So I'm going to jump to the future. And now, as you can see with the future, depending on the software available in your R860, if you have all these 5 views in your adult patients. So the first one is my spontaneous breathing trial. My next is FRC. My next is my spirodynamics. The fork and knife next to that is to do intracalorimetry, or a metabolic study. And lastly is my calculator. If I put in lab data, as in the blood gas, CBC, it's going to calculate various equations related to that blood gas and give the calculations here. I want to point out a couple things because it is more interactive with advanced modes. So I'm going to skip over I'm going to go to my FRC. What we did here is, you can see I have an entitled CO2 waveform, and this is a nice waveform, and I can evaluate what the ventilator is measuring versus my airway module to see if I can do a FRC procedure. I can click these upper tabs below the entitled CO2 waveform, and I can hit FRC in view, and I can do a procedure. So this shows a image of previous procedures. If I hit the play button, it's going to start doing a procedure. Now I found one glitch, but I didn't want to go back and rebuild it and re-hyperlink it. I just wanted to release it. This was a long, lengthy project, so I just wanted to release it. So I'll kind of point out the glitch. So when the procedure, this is the procedure, my new measurements are going to pop up. So here's my second limb of the FRC procedure. And there's my measured values, but there's the glitch. Here's my glitch. It automatically goes to the next PEEP in view tab. So if I go back to my FRC in view, I just want to point that out. I can start it. I can also stop the test too, so allow me to stop the test. Next, let's go to the PEEP in view. So this is multiple FRC measurements at multiple PEEP levels. This is approximately set up for a 45-minute study, but to make it quick, we really speeded it up. So I'm just going to hit play, and it's going to do a PEEP in view study. And as you notice, there is 5 different PEEP measurements with 5 different FRC measured values. So I mean 5 different PEEP settings and 5 different measured FRCs. Another thing with my spirodynamics, I can look at just my spirometry loop. However, if I dropped an intratracheal catheter, I can look at my loop for just inside the endotracheal tube. So it kind of shows me the difference here. That's all I can do with it. So that's kind of the advanced functionality. To get deeper in some of the menus, that's all going to be from my basic view. So the easiest way to go back is I could hit home since it's default to the basic view, or I can open up my workspace for the present and go to the basic view. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit the home icon. This is going to go to my basic view. From my basic view, I can look at my modes, so I can select my modes of ventilation here. and this shows me all the modes of ventilation. I cannot change them. That just shows me what's deeper in the mode tab. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. I can either hit X, or like the ventilator, I can touch anywhere on the display outside this menu and it's going to close it out. And then another thing I can point out is I can look at the alarms. I cannot change the alarms, but I can look at, so I go to my alarm tab up at the top, hit that little gear icon, and it's going to open up my alarm menu. So this shows me where the alarms reside, and I'm going to close that out by hitting the X, or like I said, I could hit outside the menu 2 on the display and it'll close it out. That's similar functionality to the ventilator itself. And then lastly, I'm going to look under my menu and see what's under menu. These favorite keys are not active, but when I go into my menu, here are my choices. I have my system, my procedures, lung mechanics, nebulizer, and suction. So if we look at my system, this is shows me my system menu. I can close it out by the X, or I can just go to a different. I can look at my procedures. Here are all the procedures. I cannot do any of the procedures. Same thing with lung mechanics. Here are my lung mechanics, my nebulizer function, and then I have 2 choices. I could use aerogen or pneumatic, but I cannot simulate them. I just want to show you the menu, and then suction. So I'm going to close this out. So the main goal of this simulator was just to practice navigation, since it seems to be a key learning thing with the CareScape R860. I hope you like. Thank you very much.